Welcome to My Money Mindset podcast, where we explore how a healthy mindset is the foundation for financial success. Each week, we delve into mindset hacks and practical strategies to help you enhance your income, help you make more appropriate investments for yourself, and to improve your overall financial well-being. Join us on this journey to transform your financial future by transforming your mindset. Please note that the information provided on this podcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute as personal, financial or health advice. It has been prepared without considering your individual objectives, financial situation or life needs. Before making any financial or health decisions, you should consult with a qualified professional or financial advisor to ensure the information aligns with your specific circumstances. So let's begin and enjoy this journey as each episode teaches us on how to improve our overall mindset that it overall improves our financial success. I did an episode recently regarding how to flip property or what to consider when flipping property, and I included a lot of little different attributes, what to consider in I think it only went for about half an hour or so, but there was the fundamental part, and I suppose what I'm going to speak about is about your partnerships, having common interests in flipping property, or could even, these episodes, even though I directed towards flipping property or investment property, can be applied most instances, like as in businesses. If you're going to purchase a business or buy into a business, it could be property, but it's partnerships and how to choose a partnership in a property. And it also goes for marriage, right? So you fall in love and then 2 years later, the chemistry dies down, and then all of a sudden, a lot of the time, most people look at each other and go, well, we don't really have much in common. That does happen quite a bit. Unfortunately, in Australia, we've got about 50% of divorce rate at any given time, and the finance that I have to do with mitigating all the legal stuff and requirements for divorce can get quite complicated. So that's why I always say choose your partners wisely. And getting back to the flipping property side of things, when it comes to flipping property, you have to sort of understand that, okay, why are you acquiring a partner? Just like business, why are you acquiring a partner? Now, 9 times out of 10, a partner will add value, and that value that a partner brings will come in many attributes. It could be money, it could be knowledge, it could be experience, wisdom, anything that comes along with another person that they can add value to your property to commence flipping or commence building, developing, running a business, like I said. So there's a lot of different attributes why you should consider a partner and question a partner. So what are those attributes to look out for? Well, I suppose it's going to be gut instinct, which I always go is number one. Now, you'll get along with this person, and that's probably an important part of it, but it's not the most important part. So, for instance, you may have a best friend, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best partner to have when it comes to flipping property or buying property. So what you've got to consider is, well, hey, do we get along? That's most important. I mean, there's no use getting into a partnership with anyone that you sort of don't or have reserves about. I mean, think about it. And everyone knows the way I think when it comes to, if your mind frame is not really that great in regards to whatever it might be going on in your life, and let's say, for instance, every time you're with your potential partner that you're going to buy this property or business with, and they're negative Nelly and you're positive, I mean, you're not really going to get too much out of it. So you've got a lot of the aspects that I like to pick off are, number one, personality traits. Get along with them. Have a great friendship. Doesn't mean you've got to be best friends. Doesn't mean you've got to delve into the darkest secrets of, your person or your history or anything like that. It just means that they've got to bring quite a few attributes just the same way as you. And what I often find is great partnerships are often the ones where someone will complement. So the partner complements the other partner and so on and so forth. So if someone's very analytical, very fine, good with numbers and forecasting, yet the other one is quite creative, that can also be an awesome partnership simply because they bounce their strengths, as in finance, and what one lacking, the other one has, and so on and so forth. So just whatever is lacking in what you think, your personality, and you think, gee whiz, I'm never going to be a great finance, or I'm never going to be a creativity into design or anything like that, and your partner could be, awesome, tick. And it just doesn't mean that there's one attribute. It could be many things. It could be wisdom, experience. You may be doing your first property flip or first business. Your partner could be 20 years older, 30 years older, and they've got multiple years of experience and knowledge. They've had a few bad experiences. Don't always think the failure is bad in people's lives. There's so many people at the age of 40, 50 that come to me, even 60, 70. Believe it or not, guys. And they say, oh, look, I've had a lot of hits in business. I've probably broken even. I'm not really where I want to be in life. And I really want to just do a U-turn in life and do the best I can, because today is all that matters. And that is the first step of a positive outlook when it comes to being successful in business, in property development, in flipping property, in wherever, even a marriage. So don't always I always say, don't let the tail wag the dog, or don't let the wake of a ship steer the ship. It doesn't. The wake of a ship only demonstrates where it's been. It means nothing. That's all it is. And that's an important part to think about, because most of the time we always reflect upon, oh, I've done that and it didn't work. Or, I did that, I spent too much money and it didn't work that way. And we'd start to microanalyze and get stuck back into the past of what didn't work. And we're all too scared to let go, and we're all too scared to take that next step. And then I think, well, guys, what are you doing today then? If you have these inhibitions to actually get better in life, when I say get better, it doesn't mean making $1 million and that overnight and all this. This is about contentment of yourself, making sure that you live every day that you possibly can, right? So if you're living and you're enjoying what you do, and it's like, oh, well, I can't do that because I've got to pay the bills and I've got too many commitments. You've got to make sure that eventually you are always steering in the direction that you want to be in life. There's no use rinse and repeat negativity, or rinsing and repeating a bad day, because that bad day is only going to over and over again, and then you're going to wake up and go, why did I do that? Why did I waste 10 years? Oh, I've had bad experiences in the past, so I'm not going to buy property. They only go down, and, there's so many hidden agendas and fees. Yeah, that's someone that's gotten hit in the end and in the past and didn't have a successful time with buying or flipping property. That's not the person you probably want to partner up with, because in the end, they're going to come back with this, well, I didn't really have too much success. But if you have someone that comes back and says, listen, I didn't have that much success, but I'm willing to give it a good go because I found out and I know where I went wrong when I did the last property flip or the last development, or I'm reading the market, or I didn't know these particular people. Yeah, my team is what I mentioned in the previous episode about having a good team on board. I didn't know my broker or my solicitor or my accountant back then, and I wish I did, because they would have direct or helped me, because that's what they do. Yep, these are the attributes. These are the partnerships. A positive outlook in a partnership is just as important as yourself having a positive outlook, because in the end, a partnership, if you think about it, join together and they create a business or a company, or they're held in a trust, or whatever entity it's held, or even just two people on a title, or tenants in common on a title of a property, means that you guys are one, because the project is one, and the project is here to make you money. It's an investment. So that is probably the most important thing when to consider for a partnership. Then if you think they can bring a lot to the party, or just as much as yourself, if not more, or a tiny little bit less, but there's got to be a balance. There has to be a balance. No use someone not doing anything and everyone doing 100%. So here we are slugging away at the figures or making sure that the financials are right, and no one's doing the work in the background or being the designer or not inputting and letting you do everything. It's got to be a mutual thing. And the only other thing that I can think about regarding having a great partnership is making sure that you guys are always getting together, maybe weekly if you're in a project, collaborating. Make sure that you do have meetings. I think it's very important. Communication is probably the most important. Transparency, where you guys are going with the project or the business. Make sure that these meetings, and it could be every day. I mean, I know clients that have meetings every second day religiously, depending on where the project is. So especially in the beginning, they meet every Saturday when they go and see the project. They do the numbers. They'll meet back up on a Sunday to avoid, obviously complicated with getting involved when they're working during hours and getting distractions. And then they may catch up again together on a Wednesday. It's 3 times a week. But it's collaboration. And then on a Thursday, they catch up to go see the next properties on a Saturday. This is when they're buying properties. Then if they've bought the property, obviously they still stay together, and then they've got to work out timing and development or what they're going to do, which wall to knock down or that sort of stuff. And you've really got to communicate everything that's going on. Ideas are awesome. I think, if you were to say, look, a meeting was to be 1 or 2 hours, you definitely want at least maybe 30% of the tail end of the meeting about questions and ideas. Pressure test what you guys are doing. Pressure test what you mentioned about last week's meeting, or, where you think, come up with these inspirational ideas and, hey, what about this? No matter how silly they may be or out of kilter, you think that, oh, look, it doesn't make sense, but I'm just going to put it out there. And take notes. Taking notes is just as important because it creates transparency.